the AI discovery shift. Today, we are in a similar inflection point to the early 2000s. Last month, according to Eddie Q, the senior VP at Apple, Google search volume actually went down the first time in 20 years. It's because people are using ChatGPT, they're moving away from traditional Google. The customers are doing research within the AI tools, cost of acquisition is increasing, and people need to go to a new channel.
I'm super excited for the session.
So hi there, SEO to GEO, the hot topic of the day for sure. I'll start by maybe giving a bit of introduction about myself. I'm the founder and CEO of Azoma. Before Azoma, I spent 6 years at Amazon in various roles in the company. Most relevant for this discussion is that I was responsible for the launch of Amazon Singapore, specifically for the customer browse experience. So I worked in search, making sure that customers had a great experience when searching and discovering products on Amazon. Today, we are in a similar inflection point to the early 2000s. So in the early 2000s, Google went from having roughly 10% of Yahoo's search volume to 10 times it over a couple of years. And in this previous shift, which was done because of what is called the PageRank algorithm, a traditional AI algorithm, we saw winners. One of the most notable winners of this would be TripAdvisor. They hit 15 billion at their market cap. They have hundreds of thousands of relevant in order to win and optimize this algorithm. They have hundreds of thousands of relevant landing pages. They gave awards as backlinks to all of their hotels and restaurants, and basically understood how the rank algorithm works. So you needed to have these backlinks, pointing you towards the page, and by answering lots of customer queries about where to go, best restaurants in London or best hotels in Toronto, they became a big winner. Last month, according to Eddie Q, the senior VP at Apple, Google search volume actually went down the first time in 20 years. And obviously, the reason that Google search volume is going down, and this was during their antitrust trial that they did a few months back, the reason it's going down is because people are using ChatGPT, they're using Perplexity, they're moving away from traditional Google. 60% of consumers have replaced traditional search engines with Gen AI tools for products and service recommendations. This is according to our friends at Gemini. This is obviously off marketplaces. This is in ChatGPT and Perplexity, but it's also on marketplaces. It's through Amazon Rufus. It's through Walmart Sparky. LLM is becoming the new default for how people discover products and services. And here's some of the latest stats. Indeed, I made this presentation yesterday. I finalized this presentation yesterday. I always like to have the latest stats on here. And this is staggering, right? So on Prime Day, which happened a month or so ago, 44% of Gen Z used ChatGPT, 46% used Amazon Rufus, their AI search engine bot, which is kind of in this corner of the navigation bar. And even the baby boomers are adopting this. A quarter of them on ChatGPT and 20%, 17% on Amazon Rufus. Is having to adapt to this changing landscape. Many of you have probably felt this. 60% of Google searches now end without a click. And the result of that is, as Mark alluded to, these year-over-year cost increases to doing business on Google. So on overall, 13% increase in paid, but some industries, and maybe some of you who are in those impacted industries, beauty and personal care up 60%, education and instruction up 42%. By the nature of having more AI overviews, obviously the remaining clicks that you can get are getting more expensive, and this is a real problem for marketers as the organic cost of acquisition is increasing, and people need to go to new channels in order to acquire customers sustainably for the business, and that is what GEO is. And I think last week we saw a massive, on LinkedIn, those of you on LinkedIn, a massively big example of this. Monday.com lost 40% in market cap after admitting basically this is happening, that the Google click-through rate has collapsed. And despite growing year on year by 30%, saw this massive drop in market cap, shopping up 34%. So we're talking about a fundamental technology shift. I'm sure everyone here has used ChatGPT and experienced it for themselves. That's why it's so different. So the good news about this shift, painting quite a dark and scary picture, but the good news is that the AI traffic brings higher intent visitors. This is our own data from all of our customers across their GA4s, and we see that customers coming from ChatGPT are 5x higher intent than those coming from Google. Why is this the case? Because the customers are doing research within the AI tools. The average user in an AI tool asks a follow-up question 50% of the time on each prompt. So you would ask, what's the best running shoe? It would give you a list of responses, and you go, oh, I'm I'm overweight, I need more support. What's the best running shoe for, someone who is overweight, whatever it would be, right? Therefore, when they eventually land on your page, coming with more knowledge and a higher intent to buy, and we've seen that play out in the data. So that's some good news amongst this kind of search apocalypse that we build at the front of the webinar. So this is our 4-step process on how to get mentioned and recommended in AI search. And as I said, we've been thinking about this for 3 years now. Me and my co-founder launched a business back in 2022 when my co-founder is a PhD in postdoc in AI, and we were thinking about how can you optimize for LLMs before ChatGPT even launched, because we saw that this was, we believe this was going to be the future of search. So these are the kind of 4 things that are working for our customers. It's pretty simple, hopefully, and we'll kind of dive into all of this in the second half of the presentation. So the number one thing, the first thing is to understand what your questions your customers are asking, and then create optimized content that answers these questions. Pretty simple. We're going to talk about some case studies, and we're going to talk about some nuances and the rest of it. But broadly, that's kind of point number 1. Point number 2 is identify the sources that AI cites for the topics that matter to you, and get featured in those sources. Again, we're gonna talk about what is AI cite. We're going to talk about how you can do that, but broadly, that's a headline strategy. Number 3, and I'm not going to talk about this today, but you do a technical audit, and then make sure the LLMs can read your website. We'll do a free audit for anyone on the call. So book a demo with us. Say you're from the School of Marketing. We'll give you that free audit, and we'll tell you if they can or not. That's hopefully pretty simple. And then number 4 is the new metric that you should be thinking about is kind of AI visibility or share of voice. That's what I would recommend tracking to see how often your brand is mentioned in these AI searches. And within that you can measure sentiment and the rest of it. But broadly, those are kind of my 4 steps of recommending how you think about increasing your share of mentions in AI search. I'm going to talk about how we approach GEO at Azoma. As I said, we've been doing this for 3 years. I hope that it's helpful. We've got 2 patents in this space. The first patent looks at how we model out how people are talking to these AI platforms by building digital twins of your target audience and collecting responses from the AI platform and basically predicting what are the questions people are asking. And into that, we bring in how the AI scrape the internet in terms of their web traffic that ChatGPT goes to scrape the internet for specific topic. That's how we kind of understand how people are asking questions. And then the second patent that we have is actually generating optimized content. In order to do this, optimized content for LLMs, we look at the demographics, we look at conversion rates, we look at what are the top listings or responses from the AI engines. I'm gonna jump into the demo, and then I'm gonna come back and talk about all of the content and all of that good stuff. This is just to kind of illustrate how we're thinking about it. So for our customers, it starts with them telling us what topic are they interested in being visible for. So Clarence, who are not a customer of ours, but in this demo, interested in understanding what luxury French skincare brands want to be visible for luxury French skincare and also plant-based skincare. As I mentioned from the patent, we will then send hundreds of thousands of prompts to the AI engines. We do that by the customer will tell us which AI engines they want to be visible for. We will then send all of these prompts to the AI engines, and we do that modeling the target demographic, which is here. The target persona that the AI engines are trying to optimize for. So we will message the LLMs from them. We will monitor the responses the LLM gives. We'll monitor the web traffic that the LLM goes to in order to find those responses. And we have a predictive model to understand how that target demographic is actually speaking to those LLMs. We then pivot that conversation. So to show you what are the key topics that people care about. So in the category of skincare, for example, the number 1 topic people care about is product effectiveness, and we'll show you kind of those questions there. Then ingredients and formulation, then application use tips, and we'll show you what are the key in terms of the percentages of people talking about each topic and the specific questions. We'll show you what is coming up in terms of the GPT shopping results. What are the current products that ChatGPT is recommending? And what are the questions that activate those, the shopping overviews? We show you the key citations of where AI is getting its responses from. So you'll see here, normally as I'll talk about in a minute, Reddit and Wikipedia number 1 and 2, but we'll show you all of the citations that the AI is drawing upon to answer these questions, and that can inform your PR strategy. We show you how your brand sentiment is and your share voice in AI engines. We get into actually moving the needle for customers. So this is doing stuff like fixing the robot text, LLM text, and schema on your website and optimizing that, which you can generate here, generating blogs or recipes or information pages, generating FAQs. And we can also do the product listings as well. So we can integrate for e-commerce into Amazon or your PIM, whatever it is, and generate visual and written assets at scale. So that's hopefully an explanation of our product, which should help provide context to this next bit of like how do we do the GEO optimized content. So as you saw from that, the key thing is to do on-trend content. That's what we've seen is working from customers. You need to work out what are your customers actually asking, and then generate content which answers that.
How should we balance the exponential increase in crawlers on our sites with the desire to be prominently seen everywhere? We've seen a huge increase in bots crawling our pages, have an associated increased costs, and considering what to allow, what to block, while wanting to remain extremely visible. So this is, what's the good bots and the bad bots from terms of invalid traffic and so on.
Quickly on the carbon one, like we use AWS, the Canadian server, which is like 99% hydro. So I think like you can do this in a hydro and renewable way. On the bots, like I saw this Cloudflare, maybe this is part of the question, like the CEO of Cloudflare started to block ChatGPT from people's websites. This is outrageous. If I was a Cloudflare customer, I'd be furious. I mean, like what they're trying to do is position themselves as some kind of gatekeeper to the internet. They're trying to like take a fee, let people take a fee, and then take a fee of that fee to going to crawling the website. It's laughable, really. Like, I mean, it's not laughable, it's smart. Kudos, but it's a terrible decision for any Cloudflare customers. You want your page to be scraped by these AI engines. Like our customers are paying us to increase this, right? They want to get more scraping. I think it's just the price of doing business. Unfortunately, is that you're going to be scraped by bots. The more bots, the better the better, right? Like, I would be very careful if you're talking to Cloudflare and they're telling you, oh, block it off and do whatever. Like, yes, maybe if you had some like central government system of the internet and they could do that for, like through the UN or whatever, maybe. But like Cloudflare only like are responsible for like 10 to 20% of sites. So like if they switch off all of their customers, the AI will just go elsewhere. And it's one of those things where in the same world of Google, like Google just took everything. You don't want to block Google. I would not block OpenAI. I think it'd be disastrous.
As a Cloudflare customer, is there anything I can do about that? I've actually got a point of view on that one as well, but what would you...
Go on, no, you go.
Well, I just know that there is, and I don't want to sort of shout it out because this is not an advert or anything, but there's an organization that sponsors the Sprintathon who are very good in this space in terms of discriminating between good bots and bad bots. The Cloudflare move is like the best thing that's ever happened to this organization because they do have the tech platform to discriminate good and bad bots. So, but anyway, let's skip on. So there's a good one from Katie. We're seeing a shift from traditional SEO initiatives being rebranded as GEO. What are the real differences between SEO and GEO? Is GEO simply a more complex area on top of SEO, or does it represent a fundamental evolution? I think I know what you're going to say, but I'll let you say that.
It's a few tweaks. No, I'm joking. It's a fundamental evolution for sure. And like the reason, like the argument I would make is what you're optimizing for a fundamentally different technology. So back in the day, as I said, I did this. I did this on the inside of Amazon. You're looking at various signals on keyword ranking, and Google had the PageRank algorithm. We discussed that. What other sources cite link to this page, and it's all based on similar to Amazon, but backlinks kind of being a major one rather than like the signals of sales velocity or whatever else. This is a totally different technology. This is the biggest technology shift. Many people will say since electricity, fire. I think this is a big shift, and therefore, you need to have more than just the traditional SEO techniques.
Do AI search engines take into account organic traffic when citing websites?
No, they don't care. They don't care. Sorry, I understood this one now. Yeah, they don't care. Proof isn't like, again, we have loads of data on this. Like we should probably release some more like insights. We try and put insights on our website every now and again, but like even if you take the Google AI overviews, you'll see that they're like pulling up pages from like page 20. They really go for breadth. They spin up hundreds of queries, so there is not like you don't need to try and rank one anymore. There's not that correlation. There's obviously some correlation, but it's a different technology set which is drawing upon like hundreds of sources, not just probably in the future with the agentic browsers, thousands of sources, I imagine, not just the top 10.
So on top of Julie's question about how do I work this reality and what's the future of websites, just a taster of like how you engage with customers.
So yeah, I guess you don't want to do stuff which LLMs can't read. So there's like some dynamic elements of websites the LLMs actually can't even read. So there's like maybe they will one day, but like they can read text basically, and they're lazy, because obviously this is super expensive. This is a really much more expensive way and GPU heavy way of running things than traditional search. So I think what we've been helping customers with is the FAQs, making sure you have testimonials, FAQs, and tables. Like those kind of are the three like high level things that work, and I'd encourage people to think about that. And then happy to talk about specifics as well. Me or my team happy to book a demo and we can talk about specifics.